I don't know why 430 years is significant, but it was on the 430th year that they marched out troop by troop. And I've heard that troop by troop means a certain formation, which makes it even completely utterly impossible, because there's no way you marched out 600,000 in a troop. I mean, they weren't organized. They were organized enough to jump up and go kill a bunch of what were they again? Egyptians. And we haven't mentioned the fact that the firstborn is significant, because I'm not sure if it still happens in any tribes or communities anymore, but it wasn't that long ago that we had kings all over the bloody planet. And bloody is a good way to describe it, because it was always bloody. It was always war. It still is always war. It is always kings, or whatever they call themselves, dictators, going from place to place and pillaging. Raping, of course, is one of the things that is given as the bonus to the soldier. The soldier has the freedom to rape and pillage and take home his spoils, and as we'll see later on, that they can go collect slaves, and those sort of things were normal, and they were part of our culture. And I don't know if we have official slaves anymore, but we still have slavery. And even in our Western world, we still have slavery. Anybody that's working 40 or 50 hours a week to have an automobile so he can drive to work, he is living in slavery. Whether he or she knows it, it is slavery. If all the money of all the resources are going into the hands of 1,000 people, and that's about how it is, that's slavery. And it's slavery that's got worse and worse and worse, and it's got to a point now where the slavery isn't even called slavery, it's just called have a job. And it's going to end very badly if we don't recognize it and see what it is and change it, because we can change it. We can stop working 40 hours a week. There's no reason to work more than 20 hours a week. If you work 20 hours a week and the system changes just a little bit, and we stop worrying so much about money and start worrying a little bit about life and spend a little bit more time communing with one another, then we're not going to have to worry about so much about being idiot, moron, following, worshipping slaves. We'll try to wrap this up before it gets out of control. This is the law of the Passover offering. No foreigner shall eat of it. But any slave a man has brought may eat of it once he has been circumcised. Okay, and they go on and on and on. And then it says again in verse 48, all his males must be circumcised. So if a foreigner is in the country and he wants to eat the Passover feast, he's going to be circumcised. And anybody in his family who's a male has to be circumcised. I hope they don't mean females. I don't think the Jews circumcise the females. I think only a few backwards tribes somewhere still in Africa circumcise females. It's not such a horrible thing with males. I don't know. I've never been not circumcised, so I don't know what it's like to not be circumcised. But it's not funny with females, because it's with males, all you're losing is a little bit of skin. Okay, let's not get into circumcision too much. But no uncircumcised person shall eat of the Passover feast. So it's for Jews only. I mean, this was the law made about 4,000 years ago. I think most of the Jews are a little more relaxed about it, obviously, because, well, I don't know, because I'm circumcised, but I wasn't asked if I was circumcised. Most Jews don't take this all so literally anymore, which is a good thing, which means there's no sense going out there and being hateful towards Jews, because it continues the cycle. The whole cycle never becomes clear again if the whole thing of the Exodus was the Jews, or the Israelites then, they didn't call themselves Jews, I don't think, for another few chapters or books. When were they Jews? Later. Anyhow, Jews, Jerusalem. Well, they never even get to Jerusalem. Anyway, they were Israelites, they were Hebrews, and they were slaves, and they were uneducated, and they were doing what they were told. I mean, they had the terror. How do you say that? They had terror beaten into them. They had just seen every firstborn of Egypt murdered by their Lord Moses, and his troop of killers. Of course they're going to do what he says, because they don't want to die. So if you get an option between dying or obeying, and we'll see that as we go on a few more chapters, either you do what the Lord Moses says, or you will be excommunicated with a sword. You will be stoned to death. If you say anything bad against the Lord, you will be taken out of camp. It is a law to be taken out of camp and to be stoned to death by anybody who wants to stone you to death. I mean, it becomes a game. So if you get bored one Sunday afternoon, you think, I think he just blasphemed. Let's go stone him to death. You only need a couple of people to say, okay, let's stone him to death. Somebody you don't like, you just stone him to death and say he is disobeying the laws of Moses. Well, it is time to disobey the laws of Moses, and we must do it all at once. We must disobey all these sacred laws that have not been founded on anything sensible. They've been founded on murder and hate and genocide, and as long as we have religion in our midst, we are going to be confused, we're going to be blind, and we're going to be hateful. So we have to get religion behind us before we can step on into space. As soon as we stop being myopic, brain-dead followers, the universe is out there waiting for us. I mean, we don't have to do it tomorrow, but we have to think about where is our future going, and if we keep going around in circles, round and round in circles, one religion wiping out the religion before it, then another religion coming along to wipe out, to get followers, the followers. Stop being a follower. Just don't do it anymore. Don't follow creeds. Do not follow laws. I mean, of course, there are laws that make sense, like don't kill your neighbor or whatnot, but I mean, if you get enough sense, you know that already. I mean, birds don't kill each other. They might have fights once in a while, but no animal goes around killing their own species. If they're a hunting animal, they might have fights with each other. I mean, there's always this hormone nonsense where you want to have fights with the other bulls so that you can get the woman. Come on, we have to get beyond that. We are animals, of course, but we also are on the verge of breaking into intelligence. And breaking into intelligence is one of the hardest things evolution has done to any creature, and we've got to take it seriously or else we're going to lose it.